Yo, hello, all you beautiful people out there. I hope you have had or are having a fantastic day. If you're new around here, welcome. My name is Sam, the teenager who talks about teenage stuff because there simply isn't enough of it on the internet. Guys, I just want to thank you for all the support. We've been dropping on the videos recently. I know I've missed a couple of weeks, but it's been hectic. School's been hectic. It was the end of the year and I just had way too much to do. So I didn't have time to record a YouTube video, but as compensation, I do hope that you guys enjoyed the videos last week. I didn't post them on my main channel. They're on the EISJMUN21 channel. I put a little title up on here, up on the screen right now. Also link the YouTube channel in the description below. You guys can check out some of the behind the scenes work that we were doing as a team during our MUN weekend. So hopefully that kind of makes up for the missed video. I'm sorry though. As you may notice, however, we do have a slightly different background, and for those OG people, yes, it's the same background as when we started this channel about a year ago, because I'm now back in Slovakia for the summer. So the next eight or nine videos are going to be from this background right here. I've got a lot more natural lighting in compared to, you know, the neon background and the ring light. So let me know if you guys prefer this over that sort of style. Anyways, a lot of students are done with school, so congratulations and have a wonderful summer break first of all, but I've officially finished the first year of the IB now. I remember way back when, before like last summer, when we were talking about some of the tips or some of like my expectations for the IB. Some of them were true, some of them were, well, just straight up wrong. So we're going to be going through all of those. I'm going to be giving you guys some tips about what I've learned during my first year in the IB, as well as some of the things that you should probably look out for if you are going to the IB next year. Let's get started with tip number one. And I don't really like starting on a negative, but I feel like it's appropriate in this situation because it will turn into a positive later on. That is, you are going to suck at the beginning of IB. Trust me, it is a lot harder than you think, especially if you're coming from a system that's not the MYP. Even if you are coming from the MYP, it's still really freaking hard when you first start. I remember first time French exam, got like level 3s, level 4s, and then now towards the end of the year, I got a level 7. So don't worry, it'll take time, but you'll get there eventually. This can be really scary because if you're achieving the top levels in, you know, maybe IGCSEs, GCSEs, MYP, whatever other curriculums there are for that, you know, mid-slot just before you go into the college the last 2 years, and you're getting top grades, and then suddenly you come into the IB and your grades just take a massive drop. It can be scary. Your confidence takes a massive hit, but know that it will get better. The IB is just such a strange and unique curriculum that you have to get used to the style, and you have to get used to answering questions the way that they want you to answer questions. Don't worry though, later on in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys some great tips about how you can boost those grades and what I did to make sure my grades kept going upwards instead of kind of plateauing or dropping. The main tip here though is to just be patient and keep working hard. Trust me, the results will come along. Tip number two is that the IB starts off okay, but then gets exponentially harder and your workload grows like crazy. So make sure you are a time management master. Find some time management techniques that work well for you and explore some new ones. You have that little bit of, I like to call it a buffer period, the first 4 to 6 months where it's not as hectic. So use that time and use that time wisely to explore these various time management techniques and make sure that you have it on point before you get into that little crunch phase towards the end of the first year. At the beginning, all you're mainly doing is coursework, couple assessments here and there, but towards the end of the year where you start focusing on your extended essay as well as your IAs, things can get very, very difficult. So make sure that you get those time management techniques down, use those first 4 months, those first 6 months to kind of make sure you have everything on track, and don't leave anything to the last minute. That's another thing that I want to bring up, because if you start leaving things to the last minute, so last minute that you're leaving it towards the end of the year, you're literally not going to have time to cope because you have IAs to worry about, you have extended essay to worry about, and then you just have things that you need to get done before the summer because you want to use the summer to work on it. So the last 2-3 weeks of my first year in the IB were super hectic because I was leaving the country, so in case I did need to get anything done, well, that wasn't an option anymore, especially for the sciences. So I need to make sure everything was done in those 2 to 3 weeks, because I allocated a little bit of time working on time management techniques towards the beginning of the year. The end of the year was a lot smoother because in case I did need to pull out of certain subjects, or in case I did need to find some extra time here and there to complete work that I needed to before I left for the summer, I had it. So make sure you master time management. Tip number 3, do all of your extended essay stuff and your IA stuff as soon as possible. Do not leave it till the end of the year because you are going to have a panic attack. I know in our school we did IAs the last 3 weeks, And it was coupled with the TOK exhibition, also coupled with extended essay sessions, and it cut out a lot of our time. So it got to the point where even teachers started stressing, and you know that's bad. When teachers start stressing out, it's not a fun place to be. It might even be worth asking your teachers if you can start your IAs a little bit sooner than normal, because you have no idea what can go wrong. You have no idea if your experiment will even work. That's a big part of it. Your first 4 hours of the IA maybe are going to be spent just making sure your experiment even works before you actually start getting any data. This is of course for the sciences. For English, languages, all the humanities, IAs are slightly different. I'm talking about the sciences here. But regardless, just make sure you start your IA process a lot earlier. With extended essays as well, don't leave it till the end of the year because it's going to come to haunt you. I'm doing a science extended essay, and unfortunately I didn't have enough time to do my experiment back over in Dubai. Hence, I need to buy all the equipment, literally make a home laboratory and do my experiment here. So make sure you're not caught in a sticky situation like I am, and get all your extended essay research, material, primary research out of the way during the school year so that you can use your summer to focus on writing it. Tip number 4 is that question banks are your best friend, because you're literally not going to get through the IB without them. Earlier I said I'll give you guys some tips about how you can start boosting your grades up, and really I saw the most growth with my grades when I started using question banks. Thank you for using a chainsaw outside, by the way, right now. I'm really hoping the chainsaw isn't picking up on camera because we're gonna roll with it. Anyways, I really started to see the biggest improvements in my grades when I started to use question banks, because question banks and doing past papers, they're the closest thing you're going to get to what's going to be on your actual assessment. And also, pro student tip, a lot of the times teachers are kind of lazy to make questions, and usually won't, because the questions they make won't resemble the IB style paper. So they'll just pull it off of old question banks and off of old past papers. If you're looking for a place to find question banks and past papers, I'll leave a link in the description below. There's a website called IB Documents. If you have a Windows computer, you can download all those question banks off of there. If you have a Mac, there's some online question bank that you guys can use on the website there. All the past papers are available to your disposal, and it's honestly just a great website for IB students. Question banks are really useful for the sciences and mathematics, but where past papers really come into play and really come in handy are in terms of your language subjects and also your humanities subjects. For economics, for example, before every exam, I just have a read through some of the past paper questions, because for economics, it's structured that you have 2 sections and you've got 2 essay questions in each. So I just have a look through those essay questions, plan in my head, oh, how would I answer this? And lo and behold, I went into my exam, 2 of those exact same questions popped up. This is what I'm telling you guys, teachers will usually pull old questions from question banks or from past papers. So make the most use of them and actually go over them before each exam. It doesn't have to be for long as well. You can just have a look over them quickly for 10 minutes before you go into your exam. Enough about question banks, it's an awesome tip, but tip number 5 is that as hard as it is, you need to dedicate some time to doing things you enjoy. If you don't do this enough, you guys are going to suffer from what I like to call early burnout. And early burnout is never a good thing. I experienced it, I don't want you guys to experience it, because if you keep hammering away at it, you can only go for so long without doing something that you enjoy. So behind me, you can see I've got a guitar, I've got a sim racing wheel, I've got just a place where I can vibe before I get to my work. And finding that time management, finding that sweet spot between doing things you enjoy, going outside, practicing your hobbies, and then doing some work is really important, especially during the academic year. I know that a lot of students will probably feel intimidated by the amount of work, probably feel a little overwhelmed as well. I was too, we've all been there, it's completely normal, but it's about finding that sweet spot between doing things you enjoy and then managing your work. It can be really frustrating as well, because I know some of my teachers were like, oh no, you need to find time to do things you enjoy. And I'm like, how are we supposed to do that with all the work you're giving us? And it really boils down to just not giving a crap about your work sometimes. Sometimes you have to go like, okay, bun it, whatever the consequences are, I'm not going to do this because I need to focus on myself for an hour. I know it can probably seem like you need to get this piece of work done right now, right here, otherwise you're going to get completely screwed over. But even dedicating 30 minutes to just doing something you want to is really beneficial. To do this, or to incorporate this into your kind of work process, you can utilize something called the Pomojo technique. I have a video linked in, wait, no, it's that corner? Yeah, okay, I think it's gonna be that corner. I have a video linked in that corner on some of the studying techniques you guys can use, and there's a Pomojo studying technique, super famous. You'll probably see it all over the internet. which allows you to work for a set period of time and then take small breaks in between, and then take a much larger break at the very end. And during these breaks, you can, like, I don't know, play the guitar for a little bit, watch some YouTube videos, read, whatever you want, and just stop focusing on work for that small period of time. It allows you to regain some energy back, regain that mental stability that you've lost grinding all those practice questions, and then get back at work. Super productive. I've used it a couple times and it works like a charm. So maybe try giving the Pomodoro technique a shot if you're finding that you can't get in time for your own activities. Tip number 6 is something you guys should probably start doing during your first year of IB, and that's to start thinking of universities. Oh goodness gracious, that kind of scares me now that I say it out loud. During your first year in the IB, you're going to be exposed to a lot of things that you thought, oh, that's going to be happening in 5 years time, I don't need to worry about that. Well, that 5 years time is happening right now. One of those things is university. So you need to start having a look at university requirements. You should be doing this even before you get into the IB, because if you are interested in a particular course, it's worth checking out university websites to see the requirements and see what subjects you need to be taking at SL, at HL, in order to not be stumped when you go to apply during the summer between years 12 and 13. During your first year, you're probably going to be hearing a lot from your higher education advisor. If you do have any questions for me about what I've learned from the process so far, you can drop them in the comments below. I always love answering questions. And I think that's about it. I've run out of little ideas on my list here. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you are new around here, I'd appreciate it so much if you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. It really helps support the channel. Your guys' support has been absolutely crazy recently, and I can't thank you enough for it. Anyways, without further ado, I hope you have a fantastic week ahead of you. I hope you had a fantastic weekend, and I will see all of you guys later.